I made a statement in one of my posts, I think last week, probably to make a video including a prop illegal to possess in the U.S. Well, here it is. Oh man, I erased my friend of mine went to Cuba for a week, and he picked up a box of these. And he's a Mexican, so he can do that. I was a little disappointed. It's got a brand name on it. He told me he was going to buy them from a house, that not a factory or not a store. And he assured me that these were bought in a house. There were 4 people there rolling them with their yeah, with their feet. Anyhow, he also threw in, I think they were using their hands a little bit, and a little wooden hammer. And it's got a smooth cut here, down here, and turn it round and around. You can tell it's not straight. The cigars, they're all, none of them are the same size. It's a little hair difference in size, hair difference in color. So they're not factory made. Here you can see it up. This would be sure a lot easier if I didn't have to go back and forth with my writing here, so I see what to say. Anyhow, he bought a box of 25 of these. He give $80 for it. $80 for the box. You can buy these in Mexico. I bought them here. I bought them at a pretty good price from a friend of mine. They were old and they were pretty well ragged out and pretty dry. I give $150 for the box. If you go to the store and buy a box halfway fresh, it's going to cost you $500 or more. And chances are they're actually from China, not Cuba, because there's lots of counterfeiting going on around here. This one's fresh. This one is not. This was rolled Wednesday, I believe he said. Yeah, he didn't stay in a hotel while he was there. In Cuba, hotels are all owned by the government, and there's always a way around things like that. So he stayed in an apartment for the week. There was a couple of them. I think it was $120 a night, split between them. They had their own apartment. He had his own room. It cost him about $20 a night. And he said it was a pretty nice place. Some things are pretty high, some things are cheap. Cokes, about $3, he said. Beer, about $5. Some things pretty cheap. You can trade for some things. What they really wanted there, I better get busy on this cigar here. What's the first test of a good cigar? See if it tastes good. You can cut the end off with scissors if you want to. I always bite the end off. And if it's good enough to eat, probably good enough to smoke. And this one's pretty good. Stay out of here. Get out of here. I have an intruder. Well, I have 2 intruders. One of them's Chilo. That's a good cigar. Where am I right now? Where am I at? Okay. One of the cheaper things you can find in Cuba. They're downright good. Lobster. Lobster is easily traded for, my buddy told me. What they really wanted down there, here's the good part. What they really wanted down there, some of that witch soup. He was telling me about it, and I said, okay. Now, what's witch soup? You know, you're supposed to light these with wooden matches. It doesn't burn too good, that's because it's fresh. They ain't supposed to burn good, they're supposed to go out. Anyhow, witch soup. I says, you mean like a witch flying around with a broomstick? And he said, yeah, witch soup. I said, okay. What's that? He said, well, you know, it's that comes in a styrofoam cup, just string in a styrofoam cup, and you just add hot water, and it's got soup, turns into soup. So, that's that cup of noodles, stuff like you buy in HEB, for those of you in Kansas. I don't know where you buy yours. It costs, what, about $1? So for $1, you can get you a lobster dinner. Speaking of Kansas, did I mention Kansas? Inspectors at International Bridge here keep reminding me that by December of 2007 I have to have a passport to get back into the U.S. from Mexico. How stupid is that? Our passport is for travel into a foreign country. Oh, well, we need it for identification. Okay, what's wrong with all the identification I've already got? Let's see, I got my driver's license, I got a birth certificate, I got a social security card. Well, I don't have a social security card. I got one, I don't know where it's at. I got a peace officer license. I got a VA card. You know, it's got my social security number on it. I said, well, yeah, but the VA's already sold your identity to illegal Mexicans, so they've got the same identification you got. And now, besides making you pay several $100s for this unnecessary documentation, we can sell your identity in another form. I guess that makes sense. It's easy keeping this sucker lit and trying to talk at the same time. But anyway, okay. But guess what? I did a little thinking about it. You know, that's not such a bad deal. I mean, the passport cost a couple $100, and they're going to make me get one so I can travel back into my own country. That makes sense, don't it? But like I say, guess what? I think, and I'm not sure about this at all. I think it's still kind of illegal for U.S. citizens to travel to Cuba. But who's making me get a passport to go into Mexico when Mexico don't care anything about seeing it? So don't despair. With your passport, you can cross into Mexico. You can get on a plane for less than the cost of a flight to Las Vegas. Fly on down to Cuba. And my buddy tells me that the women there are hot. I'm there, dude. Okay. This time, not only do I sound like Junior, I look like I'm drunk. And I don't think I'm going to add no music this time because I got enough background music noise to time I add music you won't be able to hear a word I say. That's a pretty good cigar. I'll call that a wrap.